Hi, everybody. It's Paul. Sorry, I look a little rough. I just got done working out and I haven't had a haircut in a while, so my hair's a little goofy today. But just wanted to have a conversation about what's going on in our culture and what we're seeing in Minnesota. And I hear a lot of people that are rightfully concerned that it turned into a riot and looting and all of those things. Um, but I think one thing we can't lose in that, and yes, everybody who's there just to create mayhem, break into a store, all of those things, prosecute them for the crimes they commit. But let's not miss the point of what's happening. There is a group of people who feel like injustice has been systemically pressed against them for not just generations, but centuries. And when we don't give people in any relationship in our life an opportunity to express their sense of injustice, if I hurt somebody or offend them in a relationship, and then when they try to say, hey, that didn't feel very good, and I just go, nope, don't want to hear it, don't have to, I'm in charge, so just shut up and go back to your corner, they're going to find a way to express that discomfort eventually. And it's certainly going to create an unhealthy environment in our relationship. And I think what we're seeing to a great degree today, and we can't miss it, is as a culture we've been saying for hundreds of years, we don't want to hear this. We're going to keep our eyes closed. We don't want to hear that you're oppressed. We don't want to hear that you're still impacted by the fact that your people were brought here as property and that our economic status as a major world power was built on that foundation. And as long as we keep saying nothing to see here, don't want to hear it, we're going to keep coming around to these incidents again and again and again. I'm a Christian, a follower of Christ, and so I read the Bible and I figure that's a model for how I should live. And what I see Jesus do over and over again is he sat with people that cost him his reputation. He was an oppressed person himself. Jewish people who were being occupied by a Roman occupying despotic, terrible government. Religiously, he was oppressed. Financially, certainly oppressed. And when he had the chance to become a rabbi and join the Pharisees and be the wealthy, authoritative, respected religious class, the good people of culture, he chose to say no, and instead sat with the Samaritan woman, which would be like sitting with the most hated, despised people in our culture today, sitting with the looters who the president wants to now shoot by his Twitter responses. Jesus would be with those people. He would lose his reputation for them, even lose his life for them. And as a Christian, which means a little Christ or a follower of Christ, I want to sit with the people that caused me to lose my reputation and have people saying, Paul, how can you defend rioters? I'm not defending rioters. I'm defending the message of the day and not letting it get overwhelmed by the actions of maybe what a few bad people did to take advantage of the situation, but not allow that to give me the comfort to say, oh, those are just bad people, and then go back to my comfortable life. I think the messiness of these moments is where we need to say, I don't get to be comfortable anymore. I have to get out of my chair and make a decision of whom I stand with, the comfortable, religious, good class of people, or the people that Jesus decided to sit with, those that were considered not good or less than. And that's the decision I'm making in my life. I put a little I guess meme, I could call it, up on my Instagram feed that's called Take One Step, and I made a page on my website called Take One Step. And again, one of the things I want to be careful of is, as a person of privilege, is not start to say, well, here I am, I have the answer, I'm going to save everybody. I'm just saying, this is, if I can get people just to think, what's one step you could take today to start to think differently about racism or privilege or whiteness. Not saying I'm evil for being born white. I had no say in that, but I can choose to sort of live in that white privilege, or I can choose to start to say, hey, I'm going to lean in to hear the painful stories of others around me and let it change me. That's the journey of my life. And that's what I'm encouraging people to do. So go to my Instagram for the Nonpartisan Evangelical and look at Take One Step. You can go to my website at nppodcast.com. And I think if you hover over the events contact button there, it'll show you the Take One Step. And it's just my way of saying, here are some things you can do. Read Malcolm Gladwell's Talking to Strangers so you get a better understanding of how systemic racism in law enforcement works. Or watch the 1619 Project from New York Times to understand how slavery has impacted us as a culture on an ongoing basis, or any of those resources there. And here in town, where I live in Fresno, we're gonna start talking about how do we support minority-owned businesses or businesses owned by people of color. I don't know the answer of what to do. I just know that I don't want to just sit comfortably and be silent. Hear the stories of people around you. Instead of going, oh, I'm so reviled by those looters, start to say, how can I hear the story of those original protesters who were out there protesting an injustice? Before I start to say, well, these people, they were oppressed and they didn't go riot around there. Remember that America was founded in rioting. The Tea Party, Bunker Hill, those were riots done by white European people because we felt such injustice. And in our relationships, if we feel injustice with each other, we'll express them in whatever way we can find to do so. And so instead of letting us use this to write a group of people off, instead let's be Jesus and say, I will sit with the people, even if it costs me my reputation. All right, that's all the preaching I'm going to do for today, but thanks for listening in. Take one step. What's one thing you can do to start to change your vision of racial and economic and social inequality, that opportunity for economic advancement be available to everybody? How can I change me and let that start to change things around me? Take that one step, okay? All right, have a great day.